Lieutenant Do-Hyun Kim stood at the window of the space station, looking at the stars. His dark uniform fit his tall body well. On his chest was a small pin that showed he worked with animals before he joined the Space Marines. "Lieutenant Kim, they're ready for you," said a voice behind him. Do-Hyun turned and nodded. He followed the alien aide down the long metal hallway. The year was 2187, and humans had been part of the Galactic Federation for only 9 years. They were still seen as the new kids, the simple species who had just figured out faster-than-light travel. The meeting room had a large round table. Sitting around it were creatures from many worlds. Some had scales, others had fur. Some had 6 eyes, others none at all. But they all turned to look when the human walked in. "Lieutenant Kim, thank you for coming," said Ambassador Xanthi. The ambassador looked almost like a tall blue deer with 4 arms and silver eyes. "Please, sit." Do-Hyun sat in the empty chair. "You said it was urgent, Ambassador." "Yes. We have a problem that has killed 27 of our best hunters and warriors." Xanthi touched a button, and a hologram appeared above the table. The creature in the image made Do-Hyun's eyes widen. It stood taller than a bear, with 6 powerful legs and a body covered in natural armor plates. Its head had a mouth full of teeth that looked like knives, and 4 eyes that glowed red with anger. "The Razorbacks of Terrace 9, said Xanthi. "We need to build a mining station there. But these creatures attack anything that comes near. Our weapons barely hurt them. Our traps don't hold them. Our best technology has failed." "And you want humans to help?" Do-Hyun asked, confused. "We have the weakest weapons in the Federation." The alien next to Xanthi, a general with gray skin and a stiff posture, made a noise like a snort. "This is a waste of time. The humans can barely defend their own world." Xanthi held up a hand. "Lieutenant Kim, we don't want your weapons. We want your older skills." "I don't understand," said Do-Hyun. Xanthi smiled in the strange way his kind did. "Your records say you were an animal behaviorist before joining the Space Forces. In fact, you worked with Earth's most dangerous predators: tigers, bears, Komodo dragons." Do-Hyun nodded slowly. "Yes, that's true. Humans are the only species in the Federation who ever tamed wild predators," said Xanthi. "Dogs, horses, falcons, creatures that could hurt or kill you, but instead became your helpers and friends." The general interrupted. "This is foolishness. These are not Earth dogs, Ambassador. These are killing machines." "So were wolves once," Do-Hyun said quietly. The room fell silent. He looked at the hologram again, studying the creature. "You've tried to kill them or trap them. Have you tried to understand them?" "Understand them?" another alien asked. This one had the look of a scientist. "They're beasts." Do-Hyun shook his head. "No animal attacks without reason. Fear, hunger, protecting territory or young. There's always a reason." Xanthi leaned forward. "This is exactly why I called you. Will you help us, Lieutenant? Will you put together a team and go to Terrace 9? Do-Hyun thought of the animals he had worked with on Earth. The scared tiger rescued from a cruel circus. The orphaned bear cubs. The aggressive falcon that finally learned to trust him. None of them were evil. They were just animals being animals. "I'll need to choose my own team," he said. "And we do things my way. No killing the creatures unless our lives are in immediate danger." The general stood up. "This is absurd. You expect us to..." "Agreed," Xanthi said, cutting the general off. "You have 1 month to show results, Lieutenant, or we must resort to more final solutions." Do-Hyun looked once more at the hologram. The Razorback seemed to stare back at him with those red eyes. Not a monster, he thought. Just an animal no one has taken the time to understand. "I'll leave tomorrow," he said. "And I know just who to call." The spaceship landed with a soft hum on the rocky ground of Terrace 9. Do-Hyun looked out the window at the strange world. The sky was orange, and tall blue trees swayed in the wind. Two small moons hung in the sky, even though it was daytime. "Welcome to the most dangerous place in the galaxy," said Ju Park with a small smile. She was short, with short black hair and quick eyes that missed nothing. Back on Earth, she had worked with lions and wolves, learning how they think and talk to each other. Hyben Kang checked her bag of equipment one last time. She was the oldest of the group, with gray streaks in her hair and many small scars on her hands from years of working with dangerous animals. "I brought some of the scents that calm Earth predators. Maybe they will work here too." "Probably not," said Taewon Choi, looking up from his computer. He was thin and wore glasses that showed data about everything he looked at. "But I can analyze the Razorback's body chemistry once we have samples. Then we can make new sense." The door of the ship opened, and hot air rushed in. Outside, a group of aliens waited. They stood stiffly, and many had weapons at their sides. The tallest alien stepped forward. He had gray skin with red markings and wore a uniform with many medals. "I am Station Commander Vrelek. You must be the animal people." He said the words like they tasted bad. Do-hyun nodded and introduced his team. "We're ready to begin work right away." "Follow me," said Vrelek. "3 more of my people died yesterday when a Razorback attacked our eastern sensor station. I don't think playing nice with these monsters will work, but Ambassador Xanthi insists we try your way before we bring in the heavy weapons." They walked to a large building made of metal and glass. Inside, many aliens worked at computers or carried equipment. They all stopped to stare at the humans when they walked in. Vrelek led them to a room with many screens. "This is all the data we have on the beasts: hunting patterns, territory maps, attack records." Ju stepped close to one screen showing a video of a Razorback. The creature moved through a forest, stopping to smell the air, then continuing on a winding path. "Can you play that again?" she asked. Vrelek touched the screen, and the video repeated. Ju watched carefully. "There," she said, pointing. "See how it stops and turns its head to the right. Then walks in a curve. It's avoiding something." "Avoiding what?" asked one of the alien scientists. "There's nothing there." "Not that you can see," Ju said. "But the Razorback knows something is there. It's not just running around. It's following rules." Taewon was studying another screen. "Their body temperature changes right before they attack. Look at the heat patterns. And these spikes on their backs raise and lower in patterns. They're talking to each other," Hyben said softly. "Just not with sounds we can hear." Vrelek made a noise like a laugh. "You've been here 10 minutes and you think you understand them already. My best hunters have studied them for months." "Your hunters were looking for ways to kill them," Do-hyun said. "We're looking for ways to understand them." He turned to his team. "We need to see them in person, not through cameras." "Absolutely not," Vrelek said. "The perimeter is secured with energy barriers. No one goes outside the safe zone." "Then we'll never learn what we need to know," Do-hyun argued. "We need to observe them in their natural habitat." "It's suicide," said Vrelek. Do-hyun looked at the screens showing the Razorbacks moving through the forests. "It's the only way. Tomorrow, we go out there. With or without your help." Vrelek's face darkened. "I'll give you basic protection gear, but I won't risk my people. If you get killed, it's your own fault." After the commander left, Hyben looked at the others. "He thinks we're going to fail." "Everyone does," Taewon said with a sigh. Do-hyun watched the Razorback on the screen. Its red eyes seemed to stare right at him. "Then we'll just have to prove them wrong." The massive Razorback stood just 10 steps away from Do-hyun. In the early morning light, its armor plates shimmered with blue and purple colors. It was twice as big as the others they had seen. Its 4 red eyes studied Do-hyun carefully. Do-hyun stopped playing the drum. Now came the hard part. Everything they had learned in the past weeks would be tested in the next few minutes. Slowly, he placed the drum on the ground. Then he stood up, keeping his movements smooth and calm. The Razorback's spikes raised slightly, a warning sign. "It's okay," Do-hyun said softly. He knew the creature couldn't understand his words, but it might understand his tone. He held out his empty hands, showing he had no weapons. Then he did something that went against every survival instinct. He looked directly into the razorback's eyes and held his ground. On Earth, with large predators, looking away showed fear. Looking straight ahead showed confidence. Do-hyun hoped the same was true here. The razorback made a low rumbling sound. Then it took another step forward. Do-hyun remembered what Taewon had shown him. He moved his fingers in a pattern that copied the way the razorback spikes moved when they greeted each other. At the same time, he used a small device in his pocket to release a scent similar to what the creatures used to mark safe territories. The razorback tilted its head. Its spikes lowered slightly. It seemed confused, but not angry. "That's it," Do-hyun whispered. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to take your land." Another step, then another. The giant beast was now just arm's length away. Do-hyun could feel its warm breath. One swipe of its claws could tear him in half. Very slowly, Do-hyun raised his hand. The razorback watched, but didn't back away. With his heart pounding so hard, he thought it might jump out of his chest. Do-hyun reached out. His fingers touched the armor plate on the razorback's shoulder. The creature went still. No one had ever touched a razorback without being killed. Until now. "I'm going to call you Thunder," Do-hyun said quietly, feeling the rough texture of the armor under his fingers. "Because that's what your voice sounds like." Thunder made a soft clicking sound. The spikes on its back moved in a wave pattern that Ju had identified as a non-threatening signal. Just then, a loud noise broke the quiet morning. Thunder's head snapped up, spikes rising in alarm. A Federation security team was running toward them, weapons raised. Commander Vralik was at the front. "Step away from the beast," he shouted. "No," Do-hyun yelled back. "Stay where you are. Don't come closer." But the security team kept coming. Thunder's body tensed, ready to attack. The moment of trust was breaking. Do-hyun made a quick decision. He stepped between Thunder and the security team, facing the razorback. "It's okay," he said to Thunder, making the greeting signal with his fingers again. "They're scared, just like you are." Thunder's spikes lowered slightly, but its eyes stayed on the armed aliens. "Stop right there," Do-hyun called to Vralik without turning around. "Lower your weapons." "Are you insane?" Vralik shouted. "That thing will kill you." "If it wanted to kill me, I'd already be dead," Do-hyun replied calmly. "Please, lower your weapons. You're making it defensive." Something in Do-hyun's voice made Vralik pause. He raised his hand, and the security team slowly lowered their weapons. Thunder's spikes lowered too. It made a rumbling sound, then took a step back, but it didn't run away. Vralik watched in amazement. How is this possible? Do-hyun finally turned to face him, still keeping one hand near Thunder. "Because we didn't come with weapons and fear. We came with respect and patience." The security team and Vralik stood frozen, watching as a human calmly stood beside the galaxy's most feared predator. "This is just the beginning," Do-hyun said. "Thunder here is going to help us understand his kind even better." As if understanding his words, Thunder made a soft clicking sound and pressed its armored head gently against Do-hyun's shoulder. "This is against my direct orders." Commander Vralik's voice crackled through the small radio. "Return to the base immediately." Do-hyun turned off the radio and put it in his pocket. Next to him, Hyben adjusted the light armor they had been given. It wouldn't stop a direct attack from a razorback, but it might give them a few extra seconds if things went wrong. "He's going to be very angry," Hyben said with a small smile. "Better to ask forgiveness than permission," Do-hyun replied. They were hiding behind large rocks at the edge of a clearing. Their tracking devices showed 3 razorbacks nearby. The morning sun made the orange sky even brighter. Strange birds with 4 wings flew overhead. The air smelled like mint and metal. "Remember," Do-hyun whispered, "we're just watching today. No sudden moves. No loud noises." Hyben nodded. She had brought a small camera that made no sound. They needed to record the razorback's natural behavior. They waited for 2 hours. Do-hyun's legs began to hurt from crouching. Then he heard a low rumble. There, Hae-bin breathed. A razorback walked into the clearing. It was even bigger than it had looked in the videos. Its 6 powerful legs moved with surprising grace. The armor plates on its back shifted slightly as it walked. Its 4 red eyes scanned the area carefully. Then, a second razorback appeared. It was smaller, with fewer armor plates. A young one. A parent and child. Do-hyun whispered. Hae-bin nodded, filming everything. The 2 razorbacks moved around the clearing. The parent dug into the ground with its front claws, pulling out something that looked like a blue root. It gave the food to the young one. They take care of their young, Hae-bin said very quietly. The aliens never mentioned that. Do-hyun watched as the parent razorback made a series of clicks and rumbles. The spikes on its back rose and fell in patterns, just as Taewon had noticed in the videos. Suddenly, the young razorback ran toward the edge of the clearing. It jumped over some rocks but then slipped and fell into a narrow gap between 2 large boulders. It made a high-pitched sound of fear and pain. The parent razorback rushed over, making loud, angry noises. It tried to reach into the gap with its claws, but the space was too narrow. It's stuck, Do-hyun said, and the parent can't get it out. They watched as the parent razorback tried again and again to reach its child. The young one's cries grew weaker. Do-hyun stood up. What are you doing? Hae-bin grabbed his arm. That's a mother protecting its baby. It will kill you. If the young one dies, we lose a chance to learn about them, Do-hyun said. And I can't just watch it suffer. Before Hae-bin could stop him, Do-hyun stepped out from behind the rocks. The parent razorback instantly saw him. It turned, armor plates rising, teeth bared. It made a sound like thunder. Do-hyun stopped. He kept his hands where the razorback could see them. He moved very slowly, step by step, toward the trapped young one. The parent razorback followed his every move. It could kill him with one strike, but it didn't attack. It watched. When Do-hyun reached the gap in the rocks, he knelt slowly. The young razorback hissed at him. Scared, Do-hyun reached down carefully and moved some smaller rocks away. Then he gently pushed the young one's leg back into a better position. With a quick scramble, the young razorback pulled itself free. It ran to its parent, making soft clicking sounds. Do-hyun backed away slowly, his heart pounding. The parent razorback looked at him with its 4 red eyes. Then, instead of attacking, it made a low rumble and turned away. It guided its child back into the forest. When they were gone, Hae-bin ran to Do-hyun's side. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen, she said, her voice shaking. But you were right. They're not mindless killers. Do-hyun nodded, still watching where the razorbacks had disappeared into the trees. They're just trying to live, he said quietly. And now we have a starting point. 1 month after the council meeting, Do-hyun stood on a hill overlooking the new human training center on Terrace 9. Several small buildings had been built where people from different planets could learn how to work with the razorbacks. In the main field, Hae-bin was showing 3 alien students how to approach a young razorback without scaring it. Lieutenant Kim, a voice called from behind him. It was Commander Vralik. We need to talk. What's wrong? Do-hyun asked, seeing the worry on the alien's face. Our scientists have detected a massive solar flare coming from the star. It will hit Terrace 9 in about 2 hours. How bad will it be? Do-hyun asked. Very bad. The energy will disable all our technology. Force fields, weapons, communication systems. Everything will stop working for at least 12 hours. Do-hyun frowned. We've had power outages before. We have backup systems. Vralik's face grew darker. That's not all. Our long-range scanners picked up 3 ships entering this system. They're mining ships from the Krull Corporation, the private company that wanted to strip mine this planet. Do-hyun asked. Vralik nodded. They must have learned about the solar flare. They know our defenses will be down. They plan to land and set up their mining operation before we can stop them. But that would destroy the Razorback's habitat, Do-hyun said. The council forbid it. The Krell don't care about council rules. They only care about profit. Vralik looked at the sky. We have no way to fight them. All our weapons need power to work. Do-hyun thought for a moment. Then he turned toward the forest where many Razorbacks lived. Maybe we don't need weapons. What do you mean? Asked Vralik. Get everyone to the training center, Do-hyun said. I need to find Thunder. 2 hours later, the solar flare hit Terrace 9. Just as Vralik had said, all power went out. The force fields around the base disappeared. Lights, computers, and defense systems all stopped working. And just as they feared, 3 large ships appeared in the sky. They landed about 2 miles from the base. Metal doors opened, and aliens in mining suits came out. They carried hand tools that didn't need electricity. They began to set up drilling equipment. They're moving fast, Tae-won said, looking through binoculars. They want to do as much damage as possible before our power comes back. The base personnel watched helplessly. Without their advanced weapons, they couldn't stop the miners. Then they heard a sound like thunder from the forest. Everyone turned to look. Do-hyun came riding out of the trees on Thunder's back. Behind him were Ju-woo and Hyben, each riding a Razorback. And behind them came 20 more Razorbacks, running in perfect formation. The miners saw them coming. They dropped their tools and ran back to their ships. But the Razorbacks were faster. They surrounded the mining ships, their armor plates clicking and their red eyes glowing. Do-hyun rode Thunder right up to the leader of the miners. The man wore an expensive suit and had green skin with black markings. This planet is protected, Do-hyun said, by order of the Federation Council. Your laws don't matter here, the mining leader sneered. And you have no weapons. Thunder rose up on his back legs and roared. The sound shook the ground. All around them, the other Razorbacks did the same. We don't need weapons, Do-hyun said calmly. We have friends. The mining leader's face showed fear for the first time. He looked at the circle of Razorbacks, then at the humans who rode them. You have 1 hour to leave this planet, Do-hyun said, or we let our friends here decide what happens next. The miners didn't need an hour. They were back in their ships within minutes, taking off into space. When they were gone, Vralik approached Do-hyun, who was still sitting on Thunder's back. How did you do it? Vralik asked in amazement. How did you get them to help us? Do-hyun patted Thunder's neck. We didn't just train them. We became part of their pack. They're protecting their home, and now we're part of what they protect. News of humans riding Razorbacks to defend Terrace 9 spread quickly through the galaxy. The site became a symbol of a new kind of power, not based on technology, but on understanding. The Federation Council chamber was huge. Hundreds of alien representatives sat in rising rows of seats. They all watched as Do-hyun and his team stood in the center of the room. Ambassador Xanthi introduced them. These humans have done what our best scientists and warriors could not. They have made peace with the Razorbacks of Terrace 9. A large screen showed videos of Do-hyun walking with Thunder. Other videos showed Hyben training younger Razorbacks to follow simple commands. In just 2 weeks, the human team had changed everything. How is this possible? Asked one council member. A tall alien with feathers instead of hair. Our most advanced technology failed. Our best hunters died. Yet you succeeded with drums and hand signals. Ju-woo stepped forward. The answer is in our history, she said. Unlike most species in the Federation, humans evolved alongside dangerous predators. We couldn't fly away. We couldn't breathe underwater. We had to learn to understand predators. She showed images from Earth, ancient cave paintings of humans hunting with wolves, people riding horses, falconers with birds on their arms. For thousands of years, humans formed partnerships with animals that could easily kill us, she continued. We learned to read their body language, to understand their needs, to communicate without words. Taiwan added, most advanced species either evolved beyond natural threats or relied only on technology to deal with them. Humans did something different. We formed relationships with predators. We turned potential enemies into allies. This is primitive, said another council member, using hand signals and drums instead of proper translation technology. Hyben smiled. Just then, the doors to the chamber opened. Everyone gasped as she walked in with a young razorback at her side. It wore no chains, no control collar. It followed her willingly. This is Sky, Hyben said. She's 6 months old. She was orphaned when one of your hunting parties killed her parent. The razorback stayed close to Hyben, its red eyes scanning the room cautiously. Sky, sit, Hyben said, making a simple hand motion. The young razorback sat down immediately. The council chamber went completely silent. Hyben explained, we don't control her with technology. We've built trust. She follows commands because she trusts me, not because she fears me. She showed how Sky responded to different signals, turning left or right, staying still, even gently taking a treat from her hand without using teeth. Animals don't care about your advanced technology, Do-Yun said. They care about consistency, respect, and understanding. Things that humans have practiced for our entire history. Ambassador Xanthi stepped forward. Some call the human approach primitive. I call it wise. Their way has succeeded where our centuries of advanced technology failed. The council discussed among themselves, their voices rising and falling. Finally, the head of the council spoke. We will halt all plans for hunting the razorbacks, she announced. Instead, we will establish a training program. Humans will teach our people their methods. We will find a way to mine the resources without destroying these magnificent creatures. As the meeting ended, many council members came to see Sky up close. They watched in amazement as she responded to Hyben's gentle commands. Your primitive methods have shown us something important, Xanthi said to Do-Yun quietly. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones. Do-Yun nodded. Technology is wonderful, but understanding life is even better. Commander Vralik, who had come to the council meeting, approached Do-Yun. His face looked different now, less angry, more thoughtful. I was wrong about you, he said simply. And I was wrong about the razorbacks. They're not just mindless killers. No creature is just one thing, Do-Yun replied. That's the most important lesson humans have learned. As they left the council chamber, Do-Yun wondered what other lessons humans might teach the galaxy in the years to come. You disobeyed direct orders. Commander Vralik's voice boomed across the meeting room. His gray face had turned almost purple with anger. You could have been killed. Do-Yun stood calmly. But we weren't, and we learned more in one day than your teams learned in months. It had been 3 weeks since their first encounter with the razorbacks. Each day, the human team went a little further into the creature's territory. Each day, they learned more. Ju stepped forward with her datapad. The razorbacks aren't random killers. They have 15 different territory markers. They only attack when these markers are ignored. She showed videos of the spikes on the razorbacks' backs moving in patterns. This is how they talk to each other. We've identified 23 different signals so far. Taiwan added, and I found chemicals in their scent glands. They mark trees and rocks to warn others away. If we copy these scents, we might be able to tell them we mean no harm. This is taking too long, said an alien official who had just arrived from the Federation headquarters. We need to start mining operations in 30 days. The Federation Council is considering a full hunt to clear the planet of these beasts. A hunt. Hyben's eyes went wide. You mean kill them all? If necessary, the official said coldly. Do-Yun shook his head. Give us 3 more days. We've made progress. We just need a little more time. 3 days, the official agreed. Then we do it our way. After the meeting, the human team gathered in their small living space. Maps and data filled every wall. Samples of plants and soil sat in labeled containers. 3 days isn't enough, Taewon said with a sigh. We need weeks, maybe months to fully understand them. Ju looked at their notes. We've seen them avoid fights with each other by using the right signals, if we could just find the right way to communicate. Hibin, who had been quiet, finally spoke. On Earth, I once worked with a tiger that everyone said was too dangerous to tame. It had killed 3 people. But I learned its moods, its signals. I found a way to show respect without showing fear. She looked at Do-yeon. The Razorbacks respect strength, but they also recognize kindness. You showed that when you helped the young one. Do-yeon stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the orange sky was growing dark. In the distance, he could see the forest where the Razorbacks lived. I'm going out there tonight, he said suddenly. Are you crazy? Taewon asked. At night? Alone? I have an idea, Do-yeon replied. He picked up a small drum they had brought from Earth. The Razorbacks use rhythms in their communications. Their armor plates make clicking sounds in patterns. So you're going to, what? Play music for them? Ju-woo looked doubtful. Something like that. Do-yeon packed a few small items in a bag. Don't tell Vralik. If I'm not back by morning, then you can sound the alarm. That night, Do-yeon walked alone to the edge of the Razorback territory. The 2 moons gave enough light to see. He found a flat rock and sat down. He was outside the base's protective barriers. If a Razorback wanted to kill them, nothing could stop it. He took out the drum and began to play. Slowly at first, then in a pattern that matched the clicking sounds the Razorbacks made when marking their territory. The sound carried through the quiet night air. Hours passed. Do-yeon's fingers grew tired, but he kept playing. The sky began to lighten with the first hint of dawn. Then he heard it, a low rumble from the trees ahead. He kept playing, his heart beating fast, but his hand steady. A shadow moved at the edge of the forest. Red eyes glowed in the dim light. The largest Razorback Do-yeon had ever seen stepped into the open, watching him. Do-yeon didn't run. He didn't stop playing. He just nodded to the great beast, one hunter acknowledging another. The Razorback moved closer, step by step, as the new day began. 6 months had passed since the day humans rode Razorbacks to defend Terrace 9. The small training center had grown into a proper academy. New buildings stood among the blue trees. Paths connected the academy to the Razorback territories, which were now clearly marked and protected. Do-yeon walked along one of these paths, watching students practice with the Razorbacks. Some students were human, but most were aliens from different worlds across the galaxy. They had come to learn what humans called the old ways of working with animals. Lieutenant Kim called a young alien with purple skin and 4 arms. Look what Sky did today. Do-yeon smiled as he watched the alien student and the young Razorback named Sky work together to move a fallen tree trunk. Sky pushed with her strong body while the student guided her with hand signals. Very good, Zeal, Do-yeon said. Sky trusts you now. I never thought it was possible. Zeal replied, gently patting Sky's armored side. On my world, we stay far away from wild creatures. We use robots to do all work with animals. Sometimes the old ways are still useful, Do-yeon said. He continued his walk to the main building, which had a sign that read Interspecies Communication Academy. Inside, he found Taewon teaching a class about Razorback biology. Their armor isn't just for protection, Taewon was explaining. It's also how they express themselves. The way the plates move tells you what they're feeling. The alien students watched closely as Taewon showed videos of different Razorback behaviors. They took notes and asked questions. They no longer saw the creatures as monsters to be feared. In another room, Ju-woo was working with Commander Vralik. The commander had become one of their strongest supporters. Now he was learning to ride a Razorback himself. Keep your balance centered, Ju-woo instructed. Let your body move with his movements, not against them. Vralik nodded, concentrating hard as he sat on the back of a medium-sized razorback. The creature seemed comfortable with the alien on its back. "I spent 20 years fighting creatures like this," Vralik said. "I never imagined I would ride one." "That's what humans do best," Ju said with a smile. "We imagine new possibilities." Outside in the main training field, Haben was teaching the most advanced class. 5 razorbacks and their riders were practicing moving together as a team. They turned, stopped, and started as one unit. Do-Yun watched from a distance, feeling proud of what they had accomplished. Ambassador Xanthi walked up beside him. "The Federation Council has officially recognized your academy," Xanthi said. "They're sending representatives from 30 more worlds to learn your methods." "It's not just for razorbacks," Do-Yun explained. "The same principles work with any intelligent animal. Respect, patience, clear communication. Things that technology cannot replace." Xanthi nodded. "Your species has taught the galaxy something important, Lieutenant Kim. Not every problem can be solved with machines and weapons." They watched as Thunder approached from the forest. The massive razorback had become Do-Yun's constant companion. Thunder lowered his head in greeting. "The mining operation is working well," Do-Yun said, patting Thunder's side. "They take just what they need, and they stay away from razorback territories." Both sides got what they wanted. "A balance," Xanthi agreed. "Something we had forgotten how to find." Across the field, Do-Yun saw something that made him smile. A small alien child, no more than 6 years old, was carefully holding out a treat to a young razorback. The child's parent watched nervously nearby, but Taewon stood with them, guiding the interaction. The razorback gently took the treat from the child's hand. The child laughed with delight, not showing any fear. "That," Do-Yun said, pointing to the scene, "is why we did all this. The next generation won't see razorbacks as monsters. They'll see them as part of this world that we all share." Thunder made a rumbling sound of agreement. Do-Yun climbed onto his back, and together they walked toward the forest as the suns of Terrace 9 began to set. Behind them, the Academy stood as a symbol of what humans had brought to the galaxy, not the most advanced technology, but perhaps the most important wisdom. How to make friends instead of enemies, how to understand instead of fear, and how to tame the galaxy's most dangerous beasts, not with force, but with respect. The end.